Hello, this is Dan Mollahan from True World Disclosure, and this is the one of my, I dare say, it's probably my last video, and if not the last video, next to the last. I feel led by the Most High to reveal these things to you because they are true, and I think it would be a crime to withhold them from you. You need to see true evidence, not fake CGI, not anything made up, not anything Hollywood. Uh, I'm going to give you a roundabout, quick look into my life, and then we're going to talk about angels and the great deception, the strong delusion. Okay, now, first of all, I had some miraculous events happen to me. I had a father, it was a warlock, a mother, it was a witch. They tried to, they made a deal with the demon when my older brother had died, Terry, twin brother to Tom, and they had basically wanted a son that wouldn't die and would get them rich. And I think their words were, my mom says, we prayed for a son that couldn't be killed and would make us rich and was super talented. Okay, so anyway, my sister had tried to put a family album together. Asked my mother, why don't we have any pictures of Dan? And she just told her straight out. She, finally came out and brought a whole pack of photos and threw them down. And every picture that I was in had orbs around it. So she was hiding this. She didn't want people to know, you know. And, we had several family members and friends showing up for my father's seances that he would openly hold. And one particular incident where he kept bringing back a dead great grandmother. And then when I asked a family member later in years uh, why they stopped coming to visit us and stuff, and they said, because what your parents were involved in. And uh, well, we bought that it was our grandmother that he was bringing back, but each time he kept bringing her, she more sinister every time. It was darker than ever. So we decided this was evil. This wasn't right. This wasn't our grandmother. This was some spirit pretending to be her because it was dark. And so they just felt they knew it for what it was, and they didn't entertain it any more further than that. They understood how that bad of an effect it had on their life and how wrong it was. So uh, I want people to think about that in comparison to how we let them entertain us on so many levels. Hollywood, what do you think they make spells with? What do you think is the wood that they use for wands and staffs and stuff like that to do spellcraft? Hollywood. And it just happens to be the name of our what? Main idol pushing thing. And that's what it is. And I'm going to tell you that these spirits that I'm going to show to you, on top of good spirits, I'm going to show you real photo evidence, not altered, not CGI, from a state of the art, high dollar camera, a Canon, at that, to where the government even did a cease and desist on the production of it any further because of where it was revealing so many things. And yeah, and I got so many photos that, you know, I feel very much gifted to have in the first place, but feel it would be a crime not to at least share them with people to let them see the truth in comparison to the lies that they're told every day and passed off on. Why do we believe NASA? I mean, what? Do we even know? People need to do research. Okay, this is something I had to find out on my own by doing research. Before you can even get close to any type of truth, you can't know a truth just because somebody's telling you something. That's not a truth. That's not evidence. Just because you turn on the TV and the meteorologist tells you, you know, no. Why do we take people's word so concrete and then get upset later when when we realize they were wrong? Uh, it's just it's just crazy to me. But anyway, so I was living a horrible life. I was an arrogant person. I let the music thing go way too through my head. Yeah, I was a prodigy at the age of 5. Piano prodigy, where several family members were coming just to see that. And I dare say it generated, it was providing what this demon seemed, this promise, to where it seemed like it was their request was being answered duly, but it wasn't at all, because you can't bargain with somebody else's soul, which God was about to deliver me from, which he did. And I had asked for this when I just knew things just weren't adding up right, and where my mother had just done that and showed my sister these photos of why I was excluded out of all the family photos because of mine being particularly eerie and having those orbs. Every picture I was in had orbs surrounding me. Yeah, that's because I was being what? Demonically helped. Yes. And anyway, I about a week before I had the very biggest life changing event, which was death. I had died and was clinically dead. Was even printed in a paper. 390 Circle Drive, a miracle on 390 Circle Drive in the Gallipolis Tribune. The coroner who had to be fetched, to be brought back, said himself, I will not, I'm supposed to come up with a scientific reason why he's not at least brain dead or vegetable right now, or something like that, because that would be the best case scenario. This is impossible. He says, I'm going to say it straight out. This is a miracle. This is nothing but that. It's a miracle, because I'm in fear that a bolt of lightning will come straight down and strike me from the Lord God Himself. And yeah, so because when they brought him back and he seen me sitting up and everything, he turned white as a ghost. He just couldn't believe it. And I really couldn't believe what was going on. I was so just like, wow, what the heck just happened? But I knew it happened because I just experienced it. It wasn't a dream, and my family, everybody there was to witness it with me. So they got to experience it too and see it as a fact. Um, but during that time when I died, I'm highly allergic to bees. I have to carry epinephrine everywhere I go. I've been shot, ran over. I've had collapsed lungs. I've had my jaw broke. I've had my bones broke countless times. None of those things killed me. But a hornet smacking me right in the eye and stinging me, that'll kill me real quick. And it did. So I was dead within 5 minutes, going up the back steps to my parents' house when I was staying there on leave I was in the military at the time. And I had anyway, after I'd went out and I was like, I'm going, okay, that's it, I'm gone. I knew I was dying. And next thing I knew, I was in my living room, in my family room, and I looked around. I was like, where's everybody at? I looked down and I noticed I don't see me. All I see is like a blue, fluidy, electric, like translucent almost. Well, that was my spirit. I didn't really quite get all that yet, but I was starting to. Well, I had to test things out to see if I was really dead. So I was going through and out through all the rooms to see if things were the way they should be, and they were. I could go through walls and everything else. Now, in that realm, I'm going to make this point real quick before I forget, which I don't think I would too much, but you can't forget this. All I seen was spirit after spirit overlapping each other around. I was the only human spirit up walking around. The rest of them, all the other human spirits, I seen them laying down, just like when we put rest in peace on the grave sites, saying that's why we do that, because that's what we do. We don't go moving around like the Hollywood wants to pretend and as ghosts. And those are familiars. Those are spirits that are bored and like to be just pests because they have nothing better to do. You got to remember. So, and they're bound for judgment in their head is going to be the same no matter what. Even though I dare say that it's not, that there's going to be much worse punishment if they continue to do sin, even while they're in their spirit realm. So, yeah, I think a lot of them just think, oh, it can't get any worse than this. We're going to be destroyed in the end. He said it. Blah, blah, blah. We're the demon children of the fallen angels. We're the abominations. And they are, because you, almost always turns out that way. It does, because um, there are some spirits I have heard clear of that will turn toward the Lord, even though they had but there's so fallen angel parents, but they're so far and few between. Okay, so keep that in mind. Uh, yeah, so it's best not ever to have any type of relations with demons whatsoever, unless God throws one in your life and says, "Now you got to work with this thing, and I'm going to have control over it, so it can't do something mean to you, or in the middle of it." Either way, he's going to have ultimate control over that before he would even allow that. So, I think there are exceptions for everything, because with the Lord, everything is possible. With the Lord, and there's only one Lord. People, think about this. In order to control the physics of this realm and all the physics about, what would it would take to be able to do that, to keep it subject to it? That means they would have to be of different physics themselves, different, in order to control those physics. You get me? In other words, he's a higher physics than us. He's the only one, the only self-generated spirit. First of all, he's the Lord of spirits. He's the great I am. He's the Alpha Omega, the Word. That's where we're going to get to now. The Word. Remember what the Word is. It's not a book. It's not something that's going to be altered by man, that is bound to happen eventually. And it has happened timeless again, over and over and over again, repetitively, where they've edited the Bible so much that it's not even worth reading now. If anything, it's going to throw you off path. And that's what they've tried to do with it. Now, I'm not going to say that you can't still get some inspiration out of what they've left, because you can. But at the same time, I'm telling you, you can have a direct, open relationship to where you'll get more truth from God directly, which I did. And I tested that and found that to be very much the case. And in fact, I have, in my opinion, an overload so much that it's just like, and so be prepared for that. And when you ask for things, God would, yeah, he will answer it in some way or another. May not be to your liking, but if you ask for what's best for you, he will make sure it's best, whatever's best for you. He'll do that. He's awesome. But anyway, you're going to find out how they've lied about him, they've watered him down so horribly. It's disgusting. I want you people to do research, never to take any man's word for anything, period, not even mine. I want you to test everything out and quit going by this mentality that they have been teaching recently in the past 50 years or so. Do as you say, not do as I say, not as I do, type of mentality. Or don't test it. How dare you test that? Or how dare you even question that? Blah, blah, blah. What else does... Well, even in our edited versions, God tells us to what? Be wise as the serpents. I dare say it was wiser than the serpents, and that it was meant to say, and that he wants us to test all things. Of course he does. He don't want you to be an idiot. He don't want you to be a fool. He wants you to be wary of everything. Yep. Okay, so just remember that. Anyway, so now we're going to get into what I'm going to show you, actual proof of angels that cannot be debunked, that they won't even attempt to debunk. They stopped that a long time ago on my photos, because they know there just ain't no debunking them. If you know anything about pixel graphing, and if you know anything about pixelation, or what there is involved in photos, you're going to know that I can tell you photos edited in no time. In fact, I consider, and most people have told me this, they consider me a professional at being able to tell you that. And it's because I have learned how to do it myself rather well, and altering photos just to prove to people how easy it is, and how that's what it's passed off on us every day. But a lot of these images They even profess themselves, honestly, are CGI. They're not even real photos. And then you're taking them as photos of proof that there's space and all this other stuff out there. Hogwash. Think about that. Just think a little bit. Okay. Now, with my photos that I'm going to present to you, if any's been altered in any way, I'm going to tell you each time. But the photos I'm going to pass and show you right now are not touched, altered in any form whatsoever. And any expert will tell you they're not, because you can just tell by the pixelization. Any type of photo professional will be able to tell you all of my photos are genuine. Okay. And if I display any that isn't genuine, I'm going to tell you specifically each time. Okay. Anyway, so let's get down to the brass tacks of this all. They lied about everything. Yeah. And I want you to know they've lied about everything to you ever since your birth. Think about this. What's one of the first things they've ever handed you when you were born, right after you're born? A globe. Now, why are they trying to push a globe on you right at birth? Unless they're trying to pass a lie off from the start. And what better time to hook them than young? And that's in their eyes, and that's in their opinion, and that's pretty much true too. Get them when they're young, you know, and then keep hold of them, keep that, you know. Well, sometimes when it's a little bit too unfair and too much evil is being pushed on somebody, you got to remember this: God's going to deliver them from that and give them a fair chance somehow or another. And that's what He did with me. So when I had died, I'd met this Grim Reaper after I had felt this pain in my ribs when I was trying to get back into my body. I was so desperate to get back in my body because I seen them getting ready to get it zipped over my head, the body bag. The coroner already left. I was already pronounced dead. I was 57 minutes clinically dead and everything. And in that realm, like I said, the spirit after spirit overlapping, and they were all demented and horrible looking and evil. They were demons, right? Now, the Grim Reaper said, now remember, I'm looking, how am I feeling this pain? When I feel this pain in my ribs, in my spirit, to show, well, it was proof that there is pain out there that is much worse than what we think, and just physical. It's not limited to physical. That, yeah, there's going to be spiritual pain that is much worse. So, and a comment was said to me, you thought that there was no pain worse than what you went through. Because I was going around telling everybody about how nobody went through anything worse than what I went through. I've been shot, I've been I've been through the worst pain. I was just being a big crybaby. And then he showed me, yeah, there is. He says, well, I'm here to show you there is worse pain. And, that you need to keep that in mind. And the further you are from getting to the truth on that, the longer you're going to feel this. So, and that was very true. For months, it took for that pain to go away. And it only started going away when I really started pushing myself to do as the Most High wanted me to do. Yeah. Anyway, so he says he has a message for me. He goes, I'm the first defending angel. I'm serving in penitence to avoid the greater abyss, and I've got a message for you. And then he flips me around, floats me back in my body, and he says to get it right this time. And I knew exactly who he meant. He meant the Most High God. Blah, blah, blah. Get it right this time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that happened. And like I said, that is documented. It's even in Gallipolis Tribune and as Miracle 390 Circle Drive. Anyway, all these things happened to me. It was where God was delivering me from evil that had been done against me, and where people were trying to trap me into a world of evil and use me as a, just a puppet, and just, well, that wasn't going to happen. And God delivered me from it, and I'm going to honor what He did for me by warning you people. Everything's a lie. All this stuff about pandemics, all this stuff about all of it's planned out. It's all planned out. And all these things that you need to be, they try to keep you in fear of. Remember, that's exactly what they're trying to do. Just put you in fear all the time to where you won't go find the truth, where you don't have time to find the truth. They've got you so wrapped up in all this worldly events and things, distraction, lies, distract anything to keep you away from the truth. The truth being, the Word is God. God put Himself in flesh. Adam and Eve, the book of Adam and Eve, it reveals about how they switched the roles of Cain and Abel, and to help justify blood sacrificing. That Cain was the actual sheep herder, and that Abel was the vegetable grower. And God liked his offering better because he didn't go kill something needlessly. And when that God says, "Thou shalt not kill," that includes animals. That includes all living creatures. That's how big we've been lied to, friends. Now, I am not. I have no reason to be exaggerating. Have no reason to even blow things out there. I'm telling you spot on exact truth, and the only reason that it could be is because I'm concerned about where you're headed. And I'm concerned about the fact that you're not wanting to know more about the truth. You're not wanting to do the right thing. That should be your first goal. And your first goal, as far as doing the right thing, is to please the Creator and do as He says. Trust and obey Him, not people. Understand? Okay. Anyway, so there's the background and why it is my mission to do that. I also asked him not long after that. I needed truth. I said, I can't go around telling everybody all that. When all these things just started unveiling themselves, especially after the Illuminati attempts to recruit me. And I said no. And I remember they said after the third time, they said, nobody's ever said no to this more than twice. And I said, well, I'll say it to you a fourth time. Or I said third. And they said, no, I technically would be a fourth. You said no 3 times. And I said, what? And they helped fill me in that Zuckerberg was one of them. And I thought he was just a troll or just some fake. No, it was the real him. That's what they said. They claimed. Anyway, they'd sent me a bunch of paperwork because I wanted information about them. Well, they sent me all the paperwork that I think that they would include because it revealed exactly who they are and what their agenda is. All right. Reptilian humanoid, enmity between the seed. Any guys remember that stuff? That's for real. And that the reptilian gene has been passed into us again to where they wanted the reptilian human. That's the reason why the snake being stricken down into a snake form was such a curse for a while. They wanted to get their legs back. There was a serpent race contrasting with the human race at that time. And the curse on the serpent race was to lose their legs because they let themselves be vessels for fallen angels to deceive mankind. I hope you understood that. Anyway, so they want their legs back. So that's what they're doing. And God, plus it's just what God says comes true. It never falters. It never. So he said that would happen. He said, I will place enmity between the seeds. And that's exactly what's going on. These people, I'm telling you, these are reptilian, and you will find out. Now, they're about to do what is called a false flag alien invasion. I've been warning you about this for quite a while, for over 14 years. And I'm about to show you that there are no such thing as aliens, that these are demons doing what they do best, masquerading. Get it through your heads, friends. Anyway, I've got proofs. I'm going to show you these photos, and I'm not going to sit here and keep rambling. I tried to get all that in right off the bat, and then we'll flip to the photos and attack each photo one by one. This is one showing reference to how we're under a dome, a firmament dome. I want you to look at the light and see the rainbow kind of, it's not a rainbow though, is it? It's more like a circle. So it reveals we are under a dome. It's just one of the things doing it. This was another reason why I think I'm very much on a mission, why that God has specifically picked me out because of things like this. This is a disc called the Vinca disc. It was brought to me in my possession. I mean, this is hard to explain, really. When I was in Huntington, in the yard, it was early in the morning, and I see dew, and I see something glimmering, and there's this thing laying in the yard. Well, I pick it up and I thought it was so strange. Well, anyway, I had a friend from my old hometown. He came to visit. He was staying there for a while. Well, I guess I was showing this thing off to him. I guess he thought it was worth a bunch. I mean, he probably is. Well, he took it. And then we didn't see him again, still to this day. From what I've heard, nobody has seen him. His own family has been looking for him. Bill May has asked me about. I don't know where he's at. That's the last place he was at. Was here, and he took that, and that's the last I've seen of him. But guess what? This thing showed up after he showed up missing. A week after uh, he went missing, in the same exact spot I found it before, in my front yard, glimmering. When I went out the next morning, about a week after. Oh, sorry, some idiot.